Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Nick from forexfornoobs.com with the weekly analysis. Today is Monday, the 11th of October 2021. Time is 13:35 here in the UK. You're looking at a DXY chart in today's analysis. We're going to be looking for price action setups on all these pairs listed to the right here in the Forex market. I'm going to take a little look at stocks, a little look at crypto. Been changing things up with the way I do analysis, been testing a few things. I want to try and just throw crypto in and stocks into the mix. Now, I'm not a big stock trader or equities, whatever you want to call them. Not big on it, but it is something that I do try to keep an eye on because of the impact it has on both Forex and crypto. Because there's no doubt a major link between all the markets. Forex, crypto, and stocks are linked. So it is not a bad idea to keep an eye on the stock market, see how it's doing, and see what impact it could have on your Forex trades and on your crypto trades. Interesting stuff this week in terms of the stock market. We've seen a complete decoupling of the correlation between the stock market and Bitcoin. Normally, those two are very closely linked. Well, not normally, but it has been for a while. You've had stocks and Bitcoin linked, but Bitcoin has had a sharp rise, whereas stocks have been pretty down or sideways for the most part. But anyway, we'll talk more about that shortly. Let's just start off with Forex because that's the main thing we're here for. This is, after all, a Forex channel. So let's get into Forex analysis, and then we'll look a bit at crypto and a bit of stocks. So we'll kick things off with DXY. Since DXY is ranging, we're struggling a little bit to get any clear direction on a lot of the pairs we're looking at lately. So AUD USD, GBP USD, it's not really moving that much. It's pulling back. It's going up and down. It's sort of ranging a lot, and we're not getting any clear direction. So DXY is not showing much strength right now, but it's not really even showing that much weakness. Ideally, I would want DXY to show some weakness, but some strength, I meant to say, but it's just really not happening right now. So if we look at the DXY, we can just draw some really, really simple trend lines. Now, I don't really use these to make trading decisions, but there's no doubt that trend lines do work. You know, they have some validity. We can see that DXY is kind of getting boxed into this area here. This would be a lot clearer if you were to drop down to a lower time frame, something like this, maybe even the 4 hour. You'll see how they're working out a lot clearer. But yeah, as you can see, DXY is getting boxed into this this pretty narrow zone here, and it looks like it could very well pop out from here. So what does that mean for our positions? Well, for AUD USD short, if we get like a massive amount of USD strength, that would be quite good. This one has pulled back a little bit. It's a long-term trade though, so I'm still holding. I'm just waiting for that USD strength. So ideally, we would get a breakout of USD strength to the upside here instead of the breakout to the downside, because that would effectively kill the AUD USD position and probably take it to stop loss. But you can see stop loss is quite a bit away. I'm undecided yet as to whether I should put more into this short trade. I may put more into the short trade. I have not decided yet. I just want to see how things play out today in terms of US dollar strength. If the US dollar continues this kind of like sideways movement or gets weak, then I'm probably not going to put more into this position. So I'm just going to wait and watch with this one. GBP USD, unfortunately, got stopped down on that one, so that one's just off the list. Look, I still think GBP USD is probably going to go down. It just seems like the entry was a bit early. It is stalling out again on resistance. I might make the rare move, the very rare move, which I don't normally do this because it's a very bad habit to get into as a trader. I might make the rare move of getting into this trade again. The reason that's a bad habit as a trader is because if you don't watch yourself, you might have made a bad decision getting into a trade, or it just was unfortunate trade. And trying to get back into that trade, having a second go at it, can be you getting back at the market. You trying to get revenge on the market. Now, I've been trading long enough that for me, I know it's not that. That's not the way my mind works when I'm looking at trades. I don't really care about my losses. So I'm not approaching this as revenge on the market. I just still believe that overall we're going to see that USD strength that's going to push this down. It's just we didn't get it when I wanted it. Took that trade to stop loss. So there is another opportunity to get in here, and I'll probably be trying to make use of that opportunity, really. So I am still looking here for a potential trade this week. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this to the potential trades list. Oil has really surprised me with its move up, but we'll talk about oil later, I believe would be good. Let's just take a quick look at the Forex charts, and then we can look at equities and crypto real quick. So AUDCHF has shuffled its way up to resistance right now. What do I mean by it's shuffled its way up? I mean, just look at this move up. Red candle, white candle, red candle, white candle. You get two white candles there, but it's just like up, down, up, down, up, down. It's a very, very wavy trend. If you were to jump down to like the 6 hour, or, you know, just any of the smaller time frames, I just randomly pick the 6 hour, you can see the waviness of this move. So it's shuffled its way up to resistance. It is at resistance now. Quite clear that buyers or bulls aren't that strong right here, just because of the way it moved up. So I will look for a potential short there, but it's probably not going to happen. I just want to see how price closes on this resistance area. Might get in short there. Highly unlikely, but I'm just putting it out there as a potential, something to look at, something to watch out for, because there might be a trade there. A lot of the times I'll see something that looks like I might be interested in trading it, but it's probably not going to happen. I put it on the list anyway. That way I can come back to it and assess if I want to get into it, you know, when the setup actually forms. So I'm going to wait on this one. I'm going to wait for some indecision to form. I'm going to wait for price to stall out on this area, and then I might enter it, but it's unlikely. All right, let's see if we can find anything else that looks interesting on these charts. AUD New Zealand has made a nice strong move up to resistance. Aussie dollar has been pretty strong lately. Unfortunately for our AUD USD trade, the Aussie dollar has been quite strong. And with a strong Aussie dollar and a ranging US dollar, you're going to see a rise in AUD USD. But also you're going to see a rise in AUD New Zealand, because the New Zealand dollar has been sort of weak lately. So we're getting some massive strength in the Aussie dollar. Looks like it might hit this resistance area probably today, maybe tomorrow. And there could be potential for a short from that resistance area. So I'll keep a close eye on this one. We'll see if the Aussie dollar starts to weaken and the New Zealand dollar starts to gain strength. It's a very unlikely scenario, but like I was just saying, I do like to put these on my watch list, on my potential trades list, and just monitor them and see how it goes, because, you know, sometimes I will end up trading this. Sometimes the unlikely scenario will end up unfolding. So let's see if we can find anything else. Euro AUD is making a pretty sharp move down. Now, this was a pretty clear, and I don't really trade head and shoulders patterns, but it was a pretty clear head and shoulders pattern that formed here. You can see the shoulders, the head, the neckline. So pretty strong move down in reaction to that head and shoulders. Also a break of the support area. I'm interested to see what happens when price hits this support area here. I'll keep an eye on this for a potential long from this support area. Yeah. We'll just see how that one plays out later this week. GBP AUD, interesting. GBP AUD is stalling out on top of support right now. Potential for a long here. All these ones that I'm listing here, I'll come back to towards the end of the analysis, and we'll do a bit of a review. So I know I haven't gone into much detail with them, but I don't see much on GBP CHF. GBP JPY just very strong right now. Weak yen, strong pound, flying up. Not going to take anything there. Adjust this area up here. Right, I just adjusted that area to these more recent bounces just to be more in line with that recent bounce. Also, that gives us a potential long trade here on USD CAD, potential bounce from this support area. A few things to be concerned about here. There was a double top, and like I always say, I don't really trade chart patterns that much, but you do have the neckline of this double top, and it has just broken below it, so it looks like it could potentially be pretty bearish. I'm not saying that chart patterns don't work. They can and do work. It's just not something that that I personally trade. So going long on this support area, countering that pretty strong double top could be a bit risky. So I am looking for a potential long from support here, but it would have to be a pretty convincing setup to get me in long and countering this this bearish momentum we're seeing right here. That weakness in the yen, because we know that that the dollar is not really that strong. It's been ranging in this area since last week. So we know the dollar is not that strong. And when you look at USD JPY, excuse me, when you look at USD JPY, you see how much this has gone up. That tells us that the yen is extremely weak. That being said, USD JPY does tend to be a retracey pair. What do I mean by a retracey pair? I just made that word up. But it's a pair that does retrace a lot. You know, it will hit a pretty strong support or resistance area and come back. There's multiple examples of this. It tends to struggle with resistance. It's a very sensitive pair to support resistance. So it looks like it's pushing up to that resistance area. It's a strong move. It's scary to counter such a strong bullish move. But once it hits that resistance area, there could be potential for a turnaround there, because it is in character for USD JPY. So it is a relatively strong resistance area. Has some bounces here in the past. I will keep a very close eye on that. There's a definite potential for a reversal there. Right, so that about covers the Forex side of things. A quick look at how the stock market's doing so far this week. And some weakness again. Some weakness on the European stocks, and obviously the SPX has yet to open. It opens in about 45 minutes. We'll see how that opens. I'll maybe give some comments in the members only chat room about this one. But yeah, SPX, I believe I mentioned this in last week's analysis. I was thinking that it might be falling into a range. I was actually worried about that, because I would really like to see a definitive breakdown or a return to this uptrend. But the worst scenario for me personally was just a range here. And it looks like we might be getting that range. So we'll see how that plays out on SPX. I don't really see anything to trade here. I don't even know how many of you guys trade stocks. But yeah, let's switch over to crypto real quick. We'll talk a little bit about cryptos. So a lot is happening in cryptos. Don't mind these support resistance areas. Sorry, these are trend lines. A lot of them are just drawn in as I was teaching a friend how to draw trend lines and stuff. So a lot of the stuff that's on my crypto charts is really messy and not accurate at all. so don't worry too much about that. We'll talk about Bitcoin first because there's a lot happening with Bitcoin. So I'm going to draw some very simple trend lines. Now, guys, anyone who's been, watching my stuff a long time, I don't use trend lines that much. But in crypto, trend lines are particularly effective, and crypto trend lines are really, really effective. Because the cool thing about crypto, the thing I love a lot about crypto is the fact that it's so sentiment driven. So crypto is driven by people, by traders. Whereas the Forex market, the stock market these days, it's getting more and more bot driven, AI driven. And AI doesn't react the same way as people do to stuff like trend lines and support resistance areas. So you'll notice a decline in profitability over the years when you're trading Forex, when you're trading stocks, because it's becoming more and more driven by AI. And yeah, you might say, well, why don't I just get a bot to trade with? But, it's a different kind of thing. I'm not talking about bots that you stick into MetaTrader that you buy for £90. When I say AI is running it, I mean the banks have AI that's worth millions, tens of millions. It's a different ball game. So anyway, I don't want to get into that. I'm not saying it's impossible to trade the Forex market. I'm just saying it's been getting harder and harder with time because it's not as predictable to see turnarounds or reversals or stuff like that from support resistance areas because bots don't really follow those rules. Whereas crypto is sentiment driven, it's driven by people, and the turnarounds you get at support resistance areas, at trend lines, they're a lot more reliable. When price hits like 60K, when price hits 50K, it does tend to turn around pretty dramatically, and it's easy to predict those turnarounds. If you wanted to short Bitcoin at 50K or something like that, you could have done that the other day and it would have been very, very easy. So yeah, that's why I'm using, that's a long way to explain why I'm using trend lines and stuff like that on crypto. What am I doing wrong? Okay, I know what I'm doing wrong. I'll just jump back down to here. Cool. Also why I use some moving averages on crypto. It's the same kind of thing. Moving averages tend to work pretty well on crypto as bounce, as support resistance. Right, so getting back to the main subject here. Crypto, what's Bitcoin doing? Bitcoin is looking very, very bullish right now, guys. So bullish that I think it might be heading back to all-time highs, which in my opinion is the time to hop in, to really the time to get in. So sorry, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying buy Bitcoin right now. That's very risky because it is trending up, so you might be getting in at the peak of a trend. It's not necessarily the best time to get in. I just mean in general, it's a good time to be in the crypto markets when Bitcoin pushes to all-time highs. It's generally a pretty good time to be in the crypto market because there's a lot of potential profit to be made once Bitcoin breaks those all-time highs, and it looks like it's headed there. What's Bitcoin got to contend with on the way there is the most important question. The 58K resistance area is a very strong one. 58K, 58 to 59K is really where it struggles. That's going to be really tricky. It is making its approach so that it might hit there today, it might hit there tomorrow. You never know with Bitcoin. It can really, really move. It might never hit there. But if it hits there today, I would expect a turnaround at this resistance area, the 58K. I would expect a pullback. So do be very cognizant of that. One very exciting thing about yesterday, Bitcoin made new highs on a Sunday, which is quite uncommon. Sundays are usually pretty dull days, but Sunday was a pretty exciting day yesterday. And we got that new high yesterday. We got a new high again today. And when I say new high, I mean a new high over the last few months. I mean, last time it was here was all the way back in May. In May, we got a bit of a crypto crash and people were saying, oh, is this the end? Is this the end? and it looks like it might not be the end. It might not be the end for quite some time. We might be heading to all-time highs. So my opinion on Bitcoin is it is headed to all-time highs. It's probably going to get back there, at least test the 64K. Not saying it's going to break it, but it's at least going to test it, in my opinion. It doesn't look like there's anything there to stop it, really, except for this 58K resistance that's in the way. But it has clearly broken this trend line, definitively broken the weekly bearish trend line, which was this one. I really don't think there's that much stopping it now. So, like I said, I wouldn't be jumping in long on Bitcoin right now. It's not an ideal entry on Bitcoin. But if you're in, I would hold. I've been in Bitcoin ever since I told you guys. I was buying because I am open about my buys and sells in crypto. I do post them to the free crypto chat room. I've been long on Bitcoin since all the way down here. Well, I've been long since way before, but I mean, my most recent buys were all the way down here when it was dipping here, just before the big press conference with Elon Musk and Cathie Wood, etc. I bought in at about 29K, and I have taken a bit of profit here recently because I wasn't convinced it was going to break, but hey, it did break. Doesn't really matter. I'm happy with that profit because, you know, look at that. What does that say? 70%. Boom. Gotta love crypto. Anyway, so that's my views on Bitcoin. I do think it's going up. I do think we're going to see a test of all-time highs, and potentially after the test, we're going to see all-time highs. We'll take a quick look at the other cryptos. I'm going to start sharing some crypto tips, talk about what I'm getting into, start sharing some gems. They're called gems in the crypto world with you guys. Gems are basically just low cap, generally speaking, low cap cryptos that really have potential to take off and do 100, 200, 300, even 1,000% returns. I know that sounds absurd, but hey, that's just the world of crypto. So DOT is something that I'm very, very confident in. I wouldn't call this a low cap gem by any means. It's one of the top cryptos in the world. But DOT is something I'm very confident in. I've been a buyer in DOT for quite some time. I believe I told you guys, way back in like February that I was buying DOT. But I have been buying more and more of it. I am buying in a little bit more DOT today. If you own some DOT, I would say this is a pretty decent time to buy down here for the next leg up on DOT. So DOT is something I would say to buy. I would say to buy. It's something I'm going to buy. I'm not saying to buy. This is not financial advice. You make your own decisions. But it's something that I'm going to buy today. A little bit more of. Atom is something that it's dropping down right now, but I still think there's a lot of potential here. I think it's a really good crypto. What I'm doing with Atom, my game plan for this one is to just wait for this kind of bearish trend to break. It could very well bounce from the 50 moving average. It could bounce from the support area. I'm just going to wait and see and look for an ideal entry. But I am going to be buying some more Atom pretty soon. I'll let you guys know when I do. It dipped down pretty hard yesterday, though. But this is pretty common, by the way, guys, just so you know. This is pretty common for crypto. If you're in any of these altcoins, do not get too let down. When BTC starts moving and making new highs, it is not uncommon for the altcoins to really start dropping. And then once Bitcoin settles in at a new high, let's say that high is 60,000, just for example, the altcoins do tend to flip around and then they shoot up and they make a bigger return than Bitcoin would have made. So don't be too concerned about the altcoins dropping. In fact, I'm taking it as an opportunity to buy more of them right now. So I'm going to quickly look through my list. Luna is another great crypto that I'm very, very bullish on. I'll be looking to buy some more Luna potentially today, just a little bit, and then maybe buy some more around about $36. So I will buy some more today at around $40 or lower if I can get it. And then if it continues to drop, I'll buy some more at $36. I know this strategy seems a little bit confusing because it's very unlike my Forex trading strategy. But what I'm doing here is I'm just building up a a bag or a position, some people call it, whatever you call it. I'm building up a position in these cryptos. So Luna, I'm a long-term holder of this. I want to hold it until, you know, it's $100 or something. So the further it goes up, the more I buy, because I'm not going to put in all my money down here at the bottom, because it would be, you know, it would be great, but what if I'm totally wrong and it crashes? But the more bullish it gets, the more I start believing that this one could really run. So I'll just keep adding more and more into this position. So I'll buy like a decent amount down here, and then once it goes up and hits resistance, drops back down, I buy at support. Once it shoots up, hits resistance, drops back down, I buy some more at support. So I just keep adding on to that position. Sometimes I'll even sell at resistance. So I'll sell a little bit up here and then buy back in lower here. Sell at the top, buy support, sell resistance, buy support, so on and so forth. It's a pretty simple strategy that me and my friends use to trade crypto. So yeah, Luna is another one that I am getting in a bit today, and I would not be surprised if it continues to fall, and I'll buy a bit more at $36. Mover is a good crypto, but I'm not really getting in it right now. I don't really trade stuff like SHIB. Although, wow, that's was bullish yesterday. Bloody hell. This one here. Oh, this one got a bit bearish. I have to be honest, I might close this one out. I've got some here. I might close that out. Anyway, that's not important. Solana is another big crypto. Solana is a pretty good one. I'm going to be buying some more Solana today at $148, around about there. I think Solana has a lot of room to move up. I want to get to some the RA is such a good crypto. Look for ACH, I can't find it. See, that's the problem with cryptos, there's just so many of them. It's hard to find them on your list. Yeah, so ACH is a pretty decent crypto that that I got into a little bit yesterday, and I want to get into a bit more today with this slight pullback here. So ACH is a good crypto. It's on Coinbase, so it's easy to buy. I would recommend looking into it, doing some research, seeing if it's for you, and if it is, I think it has a bright future, and I think it is at an awesome entry point right now. It's quite cheap right now. Yeah, but that pretty much wraps it up for today's analysis, guys. We'll switch back over to Forex real quick. I'll just let you know what I think about each of these pairs. AUD-CHF just looking for a short from resistance. GBP-USD looking for a short from resistance. AUD-New Zealand looking for price to push up to resistance and then looking for a short from resistance. Euro-AUD looking for price to drop to support. There's potential for a long trade from that support area. GBP-AUD just want to see price stalling out on the support, potential for a long trade there. USD CAD just waiting for today's close, and then I'll decide what to do with this one, but there's potential for a long from support. And USD JPY, I just want to see this one run up to resistance, because it could be a great short from this resistance area, because USD JPY is the kind of pair that will hit a resistance area and pull back. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a nice pullback there that we can capitalize on. So that's it for today's analysis, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week.